Hello everyone, it's BuzzRail96 here, and welcome to another Train Symbol 3 roadmap video. Today I thought to take a look at the latest release Dovetail published when it comes to the roadmap for Train Symbol 3. So let's take a look at the details. So firstly, let's take a look at the latest update that concerns with the Glossop Line, which will be coming soon to Train Symbol 3. Dovetail published information that mainly concerns the scenario aspect, which I'm not really interested in, but thankfully for me they have published information that concerns its timetable too. So let's take a look at the timetable. Of course, at this stage, it's still being developed, so when more information will be available, I will try to bring it to you as soon as possible. Now, the timetable from Manchester to Glossop runs the BR Class 323 at 2 trains per hour. Trains typically run from Manchester to Glossop, then turning back to complete the run to Hadfield. Timings can be quite tight at stations, and especially for both Glossop and Hadfield, with just 3 minutes between arriving and departing. These tight timings are what allows the route to just about manage a 2 trains per hour frequency. Even with the quick turnaround, the next train for Hadfield must often wait until the train ahead has left Dinting. There are some intricate details about this route, such as signal GB867, which protects Hyde North Junction, will always be red until Manchester-bound trains is ready to depart Newton. This also means that the approach signal for Newton, GB861, will never display a green aspect. Northern run BR Class 323s on a few other lines, such as both lines to Crewe, Stoke-on-Trent, and Liverpool Lime Street to Manchester Airport. As for layers, it's a little early to talk about those just yet, but for now the East Midland trains, Class 158, will make an appearance at Manchester for hourly Liverpool Lime Street to Norwich services. It will be mainly AI, but also have one playable service, a empty coach stock run in the early hours to Liverpool that runs via Ashbury's. The pricing will also be slightly different, which is a welcome change. It will be priced at £19.99, $24.99 and €24.99. Staying on the British side, let's take a look at an update that concerns the Thameslink BR Class 700. Work continues on the Class 700, and Dovetail published more screenshots with updates to the interior, the cab, and it looks pretty interesting. But Dovetail have also published details that concerns the timetable for the Class 700, which is nice. Of course, the Class 700 is a loco add-on for Southeastern High Speed. The 700 will add a little over 80 services to the route, which is way more than I expected. It will fill out the half-hourly all-stop service between Rainham and Dartford. This brings a regular service to Higham, which currently only has southeastern services in the rush hour, and also means Rainham Platform 0 will be used throughout the day. There are also, naturally, some morning and night empty coach stock moves. Enjoy, which, it's nice. It fleshes the route out more, and I like that. Another thing that is being added to Southeastern High Speed isn't just the loco add-on. We're going to get some new rail tour services. Now, we do have some rail tour services already in the route, which is courtesy of the Jubilee class steam locomotive. Once again, you occasionally see these seasonal additions to the timetable, which you can only see them as AI during select months, but Dovetail have put a few different diesel rail tour services, which is loosely based on real-world reference. The BR Class 47 returns to Southeastern High Speed with a pair of services which mimic the long-lost cross-country services which used to serve the Kent coast, giving us 1099 and 1S87 to run along the Chatham Main Line in the summer months. In Train Symbol 2, these similar services started at Gravesend. However, given the addition of Dartford and how busy it is, squeezing anything else in there was going to be challenging, so to get it in is a big success. The services will now join the route at Rochester instead. But that's not all. The BR Class 33 for Crompton will also make a surprise appearance. It will have a couple of 33 excursions. The Kentish Crompton and the Medway Valley Crompton are a 6-parter and 2-parter respectively. Combined, they cover pretty much everything, apart from the HS1 line, obviously, which is pretty awesome. It's nice to see the 33 used on the route other than the West Somerset Railway. It's a cute little locomotive, so if you haven't got it, I'll go and pick it up, because it's quite a nice locomotive to drive on West Somerset, and it will be probably even better on South Eastern High Speed. Some additional tweaks and AI services have also gone in. Most notably, Dovetail has adjusted how the forward-reverse Class 465 turnback procedures work at Strood in the morning and evening rush to be more prototypical. Another request is a winter seasonal AI service, which now appears at Strood, inspired by last year's Medway Valley Pullman Rail Tour. There is also a seasonal static train going in, albeit Dovetail is not telling us where, when, or what stock it will be. We just, have to wait and see. Final note on the timetable for South Eastern High Speed. Engineering works at Belle Isle Junction are coming to an end. So with the 66s out of the way, they've put in East Coast Mainline Thameslink AI in instead, which is quite nice. As far as the mysterious German locomotive is concerned, work is continuing on the locomotive, and that's about it. Dovetail have not updated us with any further information. We'll just have to wait and see, and see what it is and where it's going, what routes it's going to be on. Let's turn our attention to the Northeast Corridor New York Trenton timetable, the updated timetable. Now, in last month's roadmap, Dovetail and me, of course, talked about the work being undertaken on the newest United States route to improve its timetable, and Dovetail, thankfully, have another update for us. Progress as of May 2023 roadmap are full Amtrak and Acela services as with release. They may be slightly different due to delays and the increased New Jersey Transit traffic. There will be a full electric New Jersey Transit timetable, which is now complete, with a few late trains that are being fixed and simulated as they speak. Keep in mind, this does not include arrow-free Princeton Junction to Princeton AI or diesel equipment out of Newark Penn to Hoboken Terminal, and no AI traffic at Secaucus Junction. However, that wasn't all what Dovetail wanted to do with this timetable. Dovetail have got a couple of suggestions for extra services, AI and playable. One example is the New Jersey Transit services from New York Penn towards Newark Board Street, numbers 6XXX. Some of these were present at release, and as of the last roadmap, they were all included, though they were all AI. Dovetail had a suggestion to make those that stop at Secaucus into playable services. This was not the most straightforward thing, due to changes to make, but that was ultimately successful. So, if you wish to drive short 5-10 minute services, those are now there for you to enjoy, which is great. The last thing that Dovetail has been looking at something quite annoying. That's been, quite annoying for many players. Sorting out New Jersey Transit service descriptions for New Jersey Transit services from the NJCL. They would typically say drive this train from Trenton to New York Penn, which is a bit misleading. These have now been corrected based on where you pick up the train from, such as Railway, Newark Airport, and Newark Penn, increasing double locomotive leading chances on Amtrak Northeastern regional services. There are some other important things as well, as some players have noticed that Amtrak Northeast regional services have a very low chance to have a double locomotive leading. It was a very low chance, and as many seem to like it, it's been increased as well, which is great. Now, freight is indeed coming on to the Northeast Corridor. In fact, the freight on the Northeast Corridor was quite intriguing for Dovetail. It was the first service types that Dovetail began researching back in November of 2022, before acquiring the passenger timetables for Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. Looking through several videos and forums for reference, Dovetail found enough information for 4 freight trains, known as ME02, ME47, ME84, and OI32. These trains are run by CSAO, which to my understanding is a settled agreement between CSX and is it Norfolk Southern, I think, after the older CR lines were too complicated to divide up. Please feel free to, let me know about this, some sort of this sort of agreement in the comments below. It's quite interesting, I hear, but I really don't know much about it. Those American rail fans, particularly, that know their freight inside out, feel free to let me know in the comments below. For example, in this picture is the CSAO MEO2 having just joined the Northeast Corridor from, I'm going to bugger this name up, Mutchen Yard. It will change direction and head for Jersey Avenue. But what does this mean for the New York Trenton route? The CSAO runs trains with a mix of CSX and Norfolk Southern equipment, specifically the XCR equipment that have extra in-cab signalling. In TrainSim world, these will require sandpatch grade for the CSX GP38-2s that operate the trains, though there is a chance that one or multiple per train could be a Norfolk Southern GP38-2, if you own Horseshoe Curve, that is. Many of the cars pulled by these trains also have a medium chance to be substituted into other railroad cars. For example, CSX mixed with BNSF and then Canadian National, which is quite like the videos you normally see in real life. It also means that each time we will play and see the same train, it will always look different. Slight side effect is that MEO2, for example, may have odd cars added that it would not normally have. MEO2 also does not have the Clinchfield Railroad caboose because they don't currently have one, which may make the return service quite a challenge. In this picture, CSAO ME84 heads southwest towards Elizabeth on its journey to Mutchen Yard as the delayed Amtrak 143 passenger service heads to Washington. With all the changes above, Dovetail thinks New York Trenton will look vastly different. But it's not just freight that will change the visual landscape of New York Trenton. The Long Island Railroad, the most requested layer for the route, is indeed coming. The good news is the Long Island Railroad layer is in the route and it works better than what Dovetail thought actually. The layer adds a whopping over 500 Long Island Railroad services to New York Penn. Non-peak trains run using the north tunnels exclusively, and peak trains will use both north and south tunnels. Long Island Railroad trains can be seen at New York Penn as far down as track 13. With Long Island Railroad, Amtrak and New Jersey Transit, New York Penn during peak hours is almost non-stop, with many simultaneous arrivals and departures, Long Island Railroad especially. Long Island Railroad peak trains also run every 3 minutes in each direction, so there is plenty of activity passing Sunnyside Yard now. The Long Island Railroad layer for New York Trenton will require just the Long Island Railroad route for the M7AI. Each formation, 6, 8, 10 and 12 car trains have a 20% chance to substitute into a Long Island Railroad M3, if you do own the Long Island Railroad M3 DLC, that is. So, to be clear, the Long Island Railroad route is required for all services. The M3 only adds variety. New York Penn, thankfully, is looking a lot busier now. Now, for some other important news that concerns the route, it won't be 100% accurate, specifically talking about West Side Yard and Penn Station. They are extremely close together, and they have the capacity for 52 formations in the same area. Add that the nearby Sunnyside Yard has up to over 30 tracks, include all the moving trains, and you could be looking up to 90 formations in that area. Performance-wise, it's going to be asking for trouble, isn't it? Now, in this picture here, you can see a New Jersey Transit train leaving Sunnyside Yard, whilst a Long Island Railroad M7 flies over. Now, actually, this is how Dovetail actually started making the Long Island Railroad layer before getting it to 9 a.m. and realizing that it would not work due to, the performance of the game, taking an absolute beating. So, West Side Yard will be rather quiet. There are a few trains an hour that go there if they have to switch platforms at New York Penn, but will not stay for too long. Consider that West Side Yard won't be all that visible from New York Penn Station itself, and it makes it more trouble than it's worth. These would provide a deterrent to performance for the content you wouldn't even see. For this reason, many of the Long Island Railroad trains that would end up in West Side Yard for several hours after the morning rush will instead head back towards Woodside, as if they're empty to other yards. This gives a bonus of requiring fewer formations to run this layer. Therefore, this layer is as efficient on hardware resources as it can be. And in this picture, a Long Island Railroad M7 passes a very busy Sunnyside Yard in the late morning. Let's take a look at a progress on summary on some of the core improvements and content patches for Train Symbol 3. The add-ons manager, there's no extra news from last month. Dovetail is still in the process of testing Xbox add-ons manager. They've been experiencing some crashing issues with the current build, so their engineering team will be taking another look at it. Once Xbox is out, they will turn their attention to PC platforms. For the HST livery designer compatibility, it is going through testing, and Dovetail hope to release it later into June, alongside some improvements coming to Great Western Express. Peninsula Corridor, Oakville Subdivision Baby Bullet services, Dovetail have a partial improvement for this issue that needs to be tested. If it passes the testing, it will be aiming to release. Dovetail will be aiming to release it this month alongside another patch. For Train Symbol 2's preservation crew releases, nothing further on this one from last month. The team are in the process of getting all the updates and sticking them into one patch, and when Dovetail have more information about this, they will let us know. What else is there? Let's get on to the third-party developer update. Skyhook Games, obviously they have launched recently a humongous patch that concerns the Midland Main Line, from this route scenery to fixes on the rolling stock. The timetable's been upgraded. I'm really pleased that the Midland Main Line is getting a big boost across the board, and it should make it even more fun to play. For Just Trains, Alex from the Just Trains team has given us an update on the progress of the route's development, and as you can see, we have a first in progress screenshot. The Just Trains team continues to work hard on their first Train Symbol product. The route building team have completed 30 miles of highly detailed and very immersive scenery. It really has been a pleasure to create. The 3D artists continue to create a huge array of assets to populate the route, from the minor to major stations, fantastic looking period signal boxes, road vehicles and clutter. But in saying that, clutter is a bit of a generic dull word that really does not convey the quality and passion that is going into all aspects of the product, yada yada yada. As regards the vehicles that will be in the route, these are coming along brilliantly, ranging from cars to vans to construction vehicles to the rail vehicle, although of course creating these can be a bit of a capper sometimes. The aim with this product is to recreate the days of British Rail with a focus on the busy and varied timetable, providing an immersive experience with their full timetable featuring passenger, parcels, freight and shunting operations. When driving the route, we apparently will find that the timetable changes significantly depending on what season you are driving in, thus providing a wealth of possibilities. Alongside this, our use of layers which will interact with other add-ons that we own will mean we will never be certain on what might turn up, just like the good old days of British Rail. River Games, they have released a stack load of patches this week with many of their products, including the Isle of Wight, right here to Shanklin, the DBBR 204 diesel German locomotive, the Rosa Line, the 1938 tube stock, the West Cornwall local route, and the S-Bahn Zentralschweiz, which is quite nice. I'll have to take a look at that when I fire the game up later this weekend. And that pretty much really concludes it. I hope you enjoyed this roadmap update. If you have, make sure to hit the like button, and please feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Train Sim World news and content from me. And as always, I will see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care.